over 55 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
A busy show for you this week. Lots of moving parts, but first, formal introductions. We here at the show call her JP, but her proper name, Jennifer Parson. As for me, people call me all kinds of names. Some we can't repeat, but Ray D'Alessio would do just fine.
As always, thanks so much for spending time with us, and to show our appreciation, here's what's coming up. Proof once again that when disaster strikes, Georgia leaders step up. This time coming together to help farmers and timber producers bounce back from Hurricane Helene. Also on the program, a bold step into the future. We'll take you to Perry, where UGA's new Grand Farm is redefining what it means to grow smarter, not harder.
I see what you did there. Nice one. Plus, it's the onion that put Georgia on the map. How one family's commitment and resilience keep Vidalia onions in high demand nationwide. Kenny Burgamy takes us inside the fields of Shuman Farms. These stories and so much more right now on the Farm Monitor.
Well, before adjourning early, the 2025 Georgia General Assembly passed several bills impacting rural communities, including HB 223 offering disaster relief to ag and timber producers, HB 143 extending farm input tax exemptions, and SB 201, the so-called squat truck bill addressing vehicle safety. Together, the measures aim to support farmers, boost recovery, and enhance public safety.
With that said, Governor Brian Kemp recently put pen to paper, signing all three bills into law during a special ceremony at the Georgia Forestry Association. No doubt, though, the spotlight on House Bill 223, which Jennifer mentioned delivers critical tax relief to timber producers still recovering from Hurricane Helene.
Our ag community was not great. The ag economy, not only in Georgia, but really across the country and in a lot of parts of the world, was not good before this storm, and this only made it worse. And so the relief that the farmers and the foresters are getting is going to help them at a pivotal time to keep going and not give up. Everything that we did in the amended budget, is going directly to storm relief. And then really the big part of this for me is the tax legislation that's going to make it more affordable for foresters and others to replant, people rebuild poultry facilities, ag buildings.
Well, every year, Georgia growers are responsible for more than 2 million bales of cotton, making it the second largest production state in the country. And as Damon Jones reports, there is plenty of hard work that goes into the crop, even before the seed is put into the ground.
Cotton is big business here in Georgia, as it had a statewide economic impact of nearly $1 billion just last year. However, that doesn't come without plenty of hard work and preparation, which starts well before planters even hit the field.
Oh, it's a lot of work. I mean, you just make sure you just watch equipment and just scout your fields, and it's just a daily and weekly job, watching the weather, making sure you're doing your timely inputs as of spraying, fertilizing, and just watching the weather to where you can be able to work with it.
Growers are now seeing the fruits of that labor as planting season is officially underway. And while harvest might still be 4 months away, getting the crop into the ground at the right time is essential to maximizing yields.
Well, this time of year is important with the weather to get the crop in time, to make sure you got the right amount of moisture, the right temperature, not too cold, not too dry. And so that's why it's real important to get it off to a good start. It'll probably take me about a week to get all of mine done. And so I told my wife these next couple of weeks, don't have anything planned for me.
With dicamba not being an option for weed management in 2025, growers are using cover crops in order to keep their fields as clean as possible year-round. And that can be beneficial as they are now working on tighter margins than ever.
Watching the input costs is very important, making sure you're picking the right variety and doing your proper farm management to be able to, where you can cut costs, but not cut yield. If you can start clean, the Liberty still will work. And so if you can start with a clean field and hope you can get all the any kind of weeds out in the early part, and then any escaped pig weeds, use the Liberty to take care of that, to clean anything else up.
With prices hovering around 67 cents a pound, less than half of what they were selling for just 2 years ago, planted acres have dropped by 8% in 2024. It's a trend that is also being seen on this farm.
Well, cotton is our main source, but we did put corn in the program this year, and we do have peanuts in the crop rotation as well. But cotton is my main crop.
Despite the ups and downs farming provides, it is a way of life Scott says he wouldn't have any other way.
Well, I'm a third-generation farmer. My grandfather bought this home place back in 1940, and then my father started farming, and growing up watching my grandfather, my father farming, that's something I know I love to do, and it just took off from there, and then I took the ring and started doing it on my own.
Reporting from Collins, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Meantime, it's being called a game changer for Georgia agriculture, a new farm dedicated entirely to innovation and technology. It's a project aimed at helping the state's top industry not only survive, but thrive in the years ahead. John Holcomb has the story from Perry.
Here in Perry, the future of Georgia agriculture is here with the launch of a new farm, the UGA Grand Farm, a 250-acre innovation farm that's focused on technology, sustainability, and the future of farming.
In essence, we want this to be the go-to place in all the southeast of the U.S. for the latest and greatest within ag innovation, ag technology is really what this is all about. So we have partnerships with various kinds of companies and corporations, from large scale to medium to small startups that'll be out here demonstrating their latest technology. We want to do that particularly for producers, extension agents, ag teachers, and young people, 4-H and FFA and others.
With agriculture being the state's #1 industry, the stakes couldn't be higher, especially with such uncertain times many Georgia producers are facing.
There are a lot of challenges facing agriculture: labor, water, pests and diseases, and a whole host of things. And one of the ways that we can address those big issues is through technology and innovation. For example, by making use of autonomous tractors and equipment, that's going to help us address some of the issues that we have with labor. And also going to help us address some of the things with pests and diseases, such as technologies that we're going to have here demonstrating today of see and spray technology, where we have cameras that can identify different kinds of weeds or pests and be able to spot spray them right away for more economic opportunity, as well as lessening environmental impact.
It is an opportunity to continue to propel our state's #1 industry, right? So agriculture is the backbone of our economy, but we can't continue to ensure that it's successful without innovation and technology, and ensuring that we're finding ways to allow our farm families to be more efficient, more effective, to be able to keep more money on the farm at the end of the day, for them to continue to be successful. You know, it's been pretty tough in the ag economy the last couple of years. We've seen significant losses in net farm income across the country to the tune of over $40 billion just in the last 2 years. It's that innovation and technology that will ensure that our farm families are able to succeed.
The farm will also serve as an avenue to tell agriculture's story to consumers and hopefully bridge the gap between urban and rural areas.
It's going to be a showcase not only for Georgia and folks that come to the fairgrounds and are here for the fair or here for the state show. They'll have an opportunity to come see this new technology and new innovation. But it's not just for Georgia. This is really an opportunity across America and around the globe. We have partners that are already a part of this farm, that are worldwide partners, that are global companies, that are truly looking at ways to innovate and bridge agriculture to that next level. And it truly is going to be that bridge between urban and rural Georgia, how we showcase to show that agriculture is more than what people traditionally think that it is, and that food just don't show up on the grocery store shelf every day, that there's a hardworking farmer, especially a Georgia farm family, working every day to grow those Georgia-grown products that our consumers enjoy and enjoy every single day.
Reporting in Perry for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
When we come back, from hurricanes to snowstorms, find out what it takes to grow one of America's most famous onions. Kenny Burgamy gets a first-hand look at the family-run operation behind the iconic Cobbtown Vidalia operation.
Few crops capture the national palate quite like the Vidalia onion, and fewer still carry the kind of legacy found at Shuman Farms in Cobbtown, Georgia. As part of a special series highlighting the people and stories shaping Georgia agriculture, Kenny Burgamy spent the day with John Shuman and his son Luke, who graciously opened their doors and walked him through the ins and outs of their operation. From seed to shelf, it's a first-hand look at the passion, perseverance, and generational pride behind one of the most beloved products in the produce aisle.
John, good being with you today. Take me through the process, what the consumer may not know. These onions from the field to the supermarket or to restaurant. Take me through that process.
This onion crop here started last summer when we started buying our onion seed, and we'll buy the different varieties of onions that we're going to plant this year, and we'll sow our seed beds in September. And usually around mid-September we'll start sowing the seed beds with a tractor and a planter, and we're planting about 2.5 million plants per acre on the seed bed, and we'll grow those off until early to mid-November, and we'll start transplanting to the field our earliest varieties. We'll harvest them typically early to mid-April. We'll start harvesting, and what you see here in the field, and they're all harvested by hand. We use H2A labor crews that we license through USDA, and we'll bring them in our facility.
Take me through the weather span. I mean, you really have some challenges here in this part of the state.
You know, we have. It's been one of our toughest growing season we've had in a while. So we started with Hurricane Helene. We had just planted our seed beds, and praise the Lord that only the earliest varieties had even germinated, and they were only about that high. There was just a tint of green over the seed beds, and those got sandblasted. That 80 to 100 mile an hour winds that came through Tatnall and Toombs County picked up sand particles in the field and just sandblasted those tops. So we lost a lot of those early variety tops and lost early variety onions, and then thankfully the main varieties in this season's crop had not even germinated, so those were fine. And then we moved through Christmas into January, and we have the snowstorm where we get, depending on where you are, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow. The snow actually was an insulator to some degree, because everything above the snow line got tip burned, and everything below the snow line actually fared better. So we got through the snow okay. The Lord blessed us there. And then we had one afternoon, we had almost 9 inches of rain in one afternoon, and it was that was hard to stomach too.
Well, despite the weather conditions, you got a great product. I took a bite out of it just a few minutes ago. Where do your onions go? Consumers probably don't realize the impact of the Vidalia onion across the country.
Yeah, we're tremendously blessed in Southeast Georgia to have the Vidalia onion, particularly in the state of Georgia. It's Georgia's known for a lot of things. The Georgia Bulldogs and Coca-Cola, and there's so many things that just resonate in the Masters tournament, and Vidalia onions are one of them, and we're very blessed to have it here. And there's a consumer demand for this premium sweet onion around North America. So we do here at Shuman Farms, and in the Vidalia industry as well, we distribute all over the lower 48 and into Canada. So there's a wide distribution network. Retailers all over the country and in Canada really like this onion. They look forward to it each and every year, and it's really driven by the consumer demand and the appetite for this onion. They recognize the Vidalia onion as a premium sweet onion. Celebrity chef Bobby Flay once said that the Vidalia onion is not only the world's most famous onion, it's quite possibly the only famous onion. So I think that just speaks to the affinity of it.
You've got your son behind you. You followed your dad going into a third generation with your son, Luke. Tell us about your operation and how important it is as the family is connected to this. That's a big deal in your world.
It is, and we as farmers, as we talked earlier, we're just eternal optimists and just see the good in just most everything, and even through this difficult growing season. But you just staying connected to the family and being able to work with your family each and every day. It's got its own set of challenges for sure, but it is a blessing at the end of the day, and I couldn't imagine spending my time any other way. And I grew up around farming. My dad was actually in the fertilizer business. He owned Shuman Fertilizer, feed and seed distributor, and sold farmers in 2 or 3 counties all their fertilizer and chemicals and seed, and they'd all come to him with soil samples and get his recommendation on how to plant that crop. And And then he also had Shuman Farms on the other side of the fence. And so we were just around it 24/7, 365. And I really saw how much he enjoyed it and how much he drew from that. And that kind of made an impact on me and really encouraged me to come back and to get into the business.
I know you're an optimist because you keep doing this year after year. What does it look like for the future? The economy's a bit up in the air right now. People are worried about some of the imports-export situation and tariffs. What does it look like for the onion industry?
You know, I think we're all paying attention to global economics and what's happening in the world economically, but, you know, I try not to worry about too much of that. I try to stay focused on what we can control and what we can't, and just distinguish between those two. But I do think, you know, for the Vidalia onion, fortunately for us, a sweet onion is a preferred item in the produce department. It is a very versatile item in the produce department. You can use it in so many different dishes. You can cook with it, saute it, you can eat it fresh, you can eat it raw. And an onion is a center of the plate ingredient for most dishes. So the onion category at retail across the country tends to fare better when economic uncertainty comes into the picture. Some of your higher cost produce items like fresh cut or maybe berries or things like that, or the organic salads, they tend not to do as well. But, you know, I know during the Great Recession back in 08 and 09, the Vidalia onion and the sweet onion category performed pretty well.
John, thank you so much.
Yep.
Appreciate you doing this with us today. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about Vidalia onions. It's one of my favorites. So
it is ours too. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Very nice job, Kenny. Also, huge thanks to John and Luke Shuman for their hospitality. Need we remind you that if you missed any of this story or others on today's show, you could still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, The Farm Monitor. So many good features and information to choose from, and best of all, the archive dates all the way back to 2009.
Another hot Georgia summer is coming, and for dairy farmers, that heat isn't just uncomfortable, it's a threat to production. So how do you keep cows cool when temps hit triple digits? One Georgia family found the answer in smart barn design.
How do you make a farm or ranch more sustainable? There's no single answer, but there are common practices used by producers across the country to improve profitability, quality of life, and environmental stewardship. As farmers, not much ranks higher on our list of headaches than pests. For decades, pesticides were seen as a cheap and effective solution, but they're not a silver bullet. Pests that survive sprays pass on resistance to their offspring. Plus, they disrupt the farm ecosystem by killing non-target beneficial species, creating an environment where pests can thrive. More and more, we're turning instead to ecological strategies that apply principles from nature to the farm. The ecological approach has 4 goals: increase overall biodiversity, create a healthy crop habitat, dial back disruptive pest controls, and reduce off-farm inputs. To increase biodiversity, use rotations, cover crops and flowering species on the farm. Scout your fields and keep records of the pests you find. Work with the local experts to find plants compatible with your farm and management goals. A biodiverse farm will have more beneficial insects. This keeps pest populations lower because they face predation and competition for resources. Biodiversity also improves soil health. This leads to crops that grow vigorously and are better able to defend themselves. Pesticides and fertilizers are important tools, but they need to be used carefully. To preserve biodiversity, use pesticides as a last resort and start with the least toxic tactics. To avoid feeding weeds, use soil tests to match fertilizer timing and rates to the needs of the crop. Ecological strategies do much more than manage pests. You can grow healthier crops using fewer off-farm inputs, which is good for the bottom line. There's much more to learn about ecological pest management and sustainable agriculture. Start exploring today.
Finally this week, we spotlight a Georgia Farm Bureau member who's making a difference in the ag community by not just surviving, but thriving in the face of rising temperatures. While many are bracing for another scorching Georgia summer, one Burke County dairy farm isn't sweating it, thanks to some smart infrastructure and a whole lot of family dedication. Damon Jones now with the story from Waynesboro.
It's no secret that happy cows produce more milk. Keeping them that way in the scorching heat provided a major challenge. It was a problem Eberly Family Farm was well equipped to handle, thanks to all these state-of-the-art barns designed to maintain the cows' well-being, no matter the conditions.
Our barns here are, that's the purpose of them, is to keep our cows comfortable in hot weather, and they do very well at that. The cows lay in nice soft sand beds, very comfortable. We keep fans and sprinklers on them, keep their body temperature down so they can handle the summer temperatures very well in there, and that's what we try to do, is keep them comfortable.
Keeping that production high is now more important than ever, particularly with prices for milk back on the rebound. It's a just reward for all the hard work that goes into keeping milk on the shelves.
The milk prices are decent right now, so we're always glad for that. It's a lot of work. It really is. We have a good staff, and that helps, but it is a lot of work. Sure is.
This dairy takes the family part of its name very seriously, as that staff includes a couple of the sons that help keep the daily operations running smoothly. With the number of dairy farms across the state on a sharp decline, creating a multi-generational operation like this one brings a certain sense of satisfaction.
We take a lot of pride in that. I've got two sons that are working with me. They've got a lot of energy. They're in here, trying to keep things productive, and they do a great job helping out well. So it's a family farm, and I really appreciate my boys' help as well.
And it is quite a lot to handle, as more than 1,000 cows must be milked and cared for each and every day of the year, no matter the weather. However, it's truly a labor of love the Eberly family wouldn't have any other way.
We milk around 1,200. We send probably 10,000 gallons a day, roughly. And it's a 365-day job for sure. We just like taking care of the cows, seeing the cows comfortable and healthy. That's what it's all about, and selling quality milk as well.
Reporting from Waynesboro, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Mr. Jones, thank you so much, and thank you for making the show possible.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Stay safe and enjoy your week.